chosen ones, when somebody shows you who they are, when they do you dirty, I need you to do this. This is what you do. No show, no elaborate speech, no retaliation. All you have to do is cut them off by walking away and never talking to them again. Never hang out with them again. Never talk to them again. Never associate with them ever again. You cut all ties. Now, I didn't say if this is a friend or like someone you were in a relationship with, or somebody you were talking to, or anybody in a familial situation, like a family member. What you're going to do is you're not going to block them. This is what you're going to do, chosen ones. All you do is pretend like they don't exist anymore. You erase them from your mind. You don't block them. You don't, if you have social media with people like this, I don't have social media, but for those of you who do, this is my advice for you. What you do is you unfriend them, and that's it. You don't block them. Okay? If you have their phone number, if they're whatever relationship you're in with them, whatever the situation is with this person or people, you don't block them. Blocking people is not, I believe that blocking people, one, it is childish, and as chosen ones, we know better. I never like blocking people, personally, ever. That's why you just delete their number, that's it. And if they reach out and text you or call you, you ignore it. You just swipe the number away. You swipe the chat away or whatever. Same with social media. You just unfriend them. I think that's how it works. Yeah, I think you can just unfollow them or remove them, unadd them or whatever. But specifically when it comes to phone numbers, like with WhatsApp or your direct phone number, direct, Android messaging or iMessage, what you do, guys, you don't block them. You just pretend like they don't exist, and you never talk to them again. If they text you or call you, you don't even look at the message. You don't even read the voicemail. You don't read the message. You don't read the preview. You recognize the number, swipe, and never look at it, and just forget it. Now, this video today, I'm talking about when people try and lower your vibration. All right? I know that's a bunch of fancy language, so I'll simplify it. When people try and get you messed up in the head, when people try and make you think, make you feel, okay, whether you're a man or woman, when they try to make you feel worse or bad about yourself because you're reaching newer levels, and when they try and make you think that you're a nobody, when they try and make you feel like you're a nobody and you're not enough and you're crazy or you're unreasonable or you're too much and you take up all the oxygen in the room, that is when you look at them in the eye. Okay? Depending on this relationship, you're going to have to separate ways accordingly. If you live with these people, that'll be harder, right? Let me talk about family real quick. If you say you have family who you need to just cut off, and if you live with them, it's going to be very, very difficult to do that because you're dependent on them for a roof over your head. So that is a little trickier. You're either going to be, you're either going to be like homeless, or you're going to be living with somebody else, or you're not going to leave. You're just still going to, but here's the thing. I've heard of people who've done this before, all right, or I've witnessed it before. They cut off their family, I guess, but they still live on the same roof. It doesn't work very well because since you're under their roof, they still want to take your energy. So that's about the family situation. But what about relationships or your friends? If you have friends, or your like people at work. For work, it's easy. You just leave the job. You give them a note and you walk out and never go back ever again. Okay? It's simple for that. Especially when you're being, harassed or bullied. And let me tell you, workplaces these days are very corrupt and very toxic. So, it's pretty difficult to find a high vibration environment where you're actually happy and actually can do what you want to do, operate at your level you want to operate on. A lot of people, they see that and they see you as you're operating on the, the boss energy, and they don't like that, especially the supervisors, especially the boss themselves. They're going to come in, they're going to swoop in like a vulture, and they're going to, you know, make sure that they're the boss. And the whole time you knew they're the boss, and you're trying to work your best for them. And they don't even realize that you're doing everything you're doing for them. And for the paycheck, of course, but it's mainly for them. You make them look good. You run the numbers up, possibly because you're such a good worker. You set a good example for the coworkers who have been there for 10 years, let's say. You show up and you show them a whole new way to do it, and now everybody hates you. Because why didn't they figure that out the 10 years they've been there? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here? So at that point, you have to cut people off. Same with the, let's say you're at let's say that you have a friend who's just doing you really dirty, and you're not, you eventually you have to cut them off, because they're gonna keep disrespecting you no matter how many times you tell them, hey, you don't do that to me. That's not how I want to be treated, etc. I'll give you another chance, but let's not do that, please. You don't have to say that either. Like, I never say please to people if I can help it, because I think that saying please with certain people in certain environments, being too polite, makes you look weak. But I just said that as an example, okay? For the sake of this video. But you tell people your boundaries, you tell them, you're not doing that, let's not do this, please, in so many words. And they don't care. They keep doing it, they're not interested. All they care about is their ego and their own insecurity, and they just don't like you. They don't like you because they don't like you. They don't like you because maybe these people don't even know why they don't like you. They're obsessed with you to follow you around, stalk you, report you to the boss. If you're in school, report you to the professor, report you to the teacher, gossip about you after class. What they do is they stay in the classroom after class is over, the bell rings, last class of the day, last period, whatever. They stay behind, they linger, they lag, they hang out with their best friend teacher, and they talk about you because they're obsessed with you, chosen one. And then they give ideas subconsciously to this teacher, or teachers, plural. And they pretty much plant seeds of whatever they're trying to get across about you. Like, you're lazy, or you're weird, or, whatever it is. Like, people are uncomfortable with you, or, you do this in class and it's annoying, or whatever. And then the next day you show up to classroom and you wonder why the teacher's like treating you so weird. You show up to the counselor's office to get your ask a question about your units or something, and the counselor is like swiveling in her chair, like examining you like you're an alien specimen from that show that came out a while ago about, they go into space and these aliens are like killer aliens, right? And you can't contain them, you can't control them, and then like they eat you from the inside out. I don't know if you guys have heard of that show. They look like jelly. They're like jelly aliens. And then, they gotta stay behind the glass, or else the jelly alien will eat you, or like go in your mouth and then rip you up, from the inside out. That's what these counselors do. These people do. These higher-ups do. They sit back in their chair. They look at you. They, not literally, but they put on their gloves and put on their goggles. Okay, not literally, but figuratively. And they look you up and down. They watch you. They monitor you. And they're like, weird. It's weird. That's all I can say. And you're like, where do you get all these images from, Jeffrey? Well, it's because I can see things that you people can't see, chosen ones. I can see things people don't see. I could be sitting in front of somebody, like the example I gave, a teacher, and this teacher will be putting on his gloves and his goggles and his protective gear, his PPE, personal protective equipment, while he's talking to me. Like, I'll see his spirit putting those things on because he really doesn't like me. He was repulsed by me, That happened to me a lot in the past. That's happened to me in the past. So that's what these people do. Your classmates stick behind after class. They talk to the professor, the teacher. They plant seeds of ideas in their head. And then the next day you wonder why everybody's weird. because they just don't like you because you're just too good. And I don't want you guys ever to think or interpret this as you're a problem or you're not enough. It's the opposite. Your shine is so bright. You go look in the mirror right now. I guarantee you, you're going to like what you see. You go and it doesn't matter if it's physical looks or anything. It's more of everything about you is great. It's perfect. The way you pump gas, the way you walk, the way you sign your name, the way you write, your handwriting, the way you help your little sister clean up her toys or whatever. The way you take your dog for a walk, the way you care for your pet, your animal, everything about you is perfect, chosen one, and they can't stand that because they use up all their energy trying to appear perfect and everything's good. That makes them so depleted, okay? Not to mention, there's other aspects of being depleted as well. But I won't get into that. But the thing is that these people are so depleted using substances, faking everything, faking to be okay. And I know, no, they're not trying to actually get through and be okay because their mindset isn't where it's supposed to be. Their heart isn't where it's supposed to be. They don't have a pure heart. So everything people do, if you don't have a clean heart, then everything you do is corrupt. So even if you're saying, there's people that could say, that argue, oh, well, they have they're just trying to get by. They're just trying to live their life. They're just trying to appear friendly. They're just trying to da-da-da. Their heart isn't pure, though. They have these rusty, I'll call them rusty intentions. Their intentions are covered with rust. Okay? They're faulty. They're defective. They're doing everything for the wrong reason. Okay? And then they say you're the bad guy. They say you're the weirdo. See my point here? See my point here? These normal people, what they do is the NPCs, I'll call them, is they appear like they work really, really hard to appear normal. They work hard to look like they're rich and buy nice things and drive nice cars and be going out to a lot of places, and posting this and whip out their phone every 5 seconds to take a picture of everything they do. It doesn't matter if you're at the beach, going shopping at Walmart, or going to Sephora, or I don't know, going to buy a new Xbox or whatever. Their phone whips out everything they do, putting gas in their car, they whip their phone out, it's just like, guys, you're appearing, NPCs appear to be something they're not. They appear to be doing great and looking good, but the reality is that that's what's draining them of all their energy. They're glued to their phone. They're glued to validation and acceptance. They're glued to making sure their girlfriend doesn't leave them. They're glued to making sure their boyfriend sees them as worthy or something. The reality is that if you have to use physical things to prove to your girl to stay with you, she's not for you, and you need to go get your mind right because, you're looking for self-fulfillment in the wrong places. You don't have an identity. And if you're a woman, you're just trying to do everything to make your man see you worthy. Well, that's not a man you want to be with then, because he obviously doesn't see your value as a woman, because both genders have a lot to bring to the table, all right? That's facts. And so everybody's depleted because of this game they're playing, these competitions they're playing, these races they're running. They're drained. They spend money and now they're drained because they have to go work extra hours to go make up for it. And they're behind on rent, and they got to keep up on their social media following. So they're depleted. So guess what they do? Guess what they do, chosen one? They come after you. They come after you. Steal your blessing. Steal your blessing. Steal your energy. Steal your light. They try and put you to the test because they can't believe that you look like you're doing so good, but you're not doing well at all. Or you're struggling every day, but you're just handling it so well, and they hate that. So that's the message. That's the message. You need to cut people off that do this to you. You need to avoid these places that do these things to you. Now, I know the two scenarios where it's very difficult to get around this is family, if you live with them, and school, especially if you're in high school or if you're in college and you have to go to this university, for your classes. Now, for the university, there is a way around it. You can do online school, so you don't have to be in a room with people. But even online, you're going to be doing online discussions. In discussions, people will do these things to you in so many ways. They'll try and verbally on the keyboard, or if you're in a Zoom meeting, they'll do things to you like that. But if you're in high school, you're pretty much locked in because the only way to get out of that is to transfer schools, and you need permission from the district to do that, and a majority will say no. Okay, you know why I know that? Because I tried to do that, and I was denied 3 times. No, 2 times. So 2 times. So you don't get anywhere. So because they don't care about you, the school system doesn't care about you. The school system is corrupt. I just want to put that out there. So if you're in high school or you live with your family and you rely on them for food, clothing, shelter, this is a tricky one. You're gonna have to figure that one out, I guess, or just rough it out, or stick it out. I mean, but if you're not living with your family, or if you're in college or you're beyond college, or you're dealing with a workplace, yes, it is easier to leave these environments and to cut people off because look, they're going to damage your health. Take it from me. People who do these things to you are going to damage your body. Your nervous system's going to be wrecked. You're not going to eat properly because if you live with narcissists, especially, they control the food and they control everything you eat. Even if you bring home fast food, you bring home food from somewhere, whether it's fast food or healthy food, doesn't matter. They make you feel guilty for feeding yourself and for bringing food into their home, and then they make all these stupid rules like you can't bring food in even if it's healthy. You can't bring it in the house, and so you're subject to their food rules, and it's all a game. It's a sick game. Okay, so I don't want you guys to be victim to that or to be subject to that. So if you deal with people like this, it's harder because you rely on people. Okay, it's harder. I understand. But if you're beyond that, if you don't live with family, if you're not in college or high school, if you're working a job and you have other job offers and you can, you have a good work resume or ethic, then of course, absolutely, you can cut people off, cut your family off, if the consequences require it, if the situation requires it, cut your friends off, cut people off that aren't doing you any adding value to your life. Because like I said, they're going to wreck your body, they're going to wreck your mind, they're going to wreck your nervous system, they're going to make you doubt yourself, they're going to put you in this trauma cycle. It's called a trauma bond. And it's not healthy, guys. It's not good. Please, please, please don't live that way. Again, I'm just Jeffrey here giving you advice, chosen one. But as a fellow chosen one, I beg you to just consider this video, okay? That's the message for today.